Okay. So you guys, lynda.com, I mentioned this to you before. If you don't have an Omaha Public Library card, I believe you can gather this online. So if you go to omahapubliclibrary.org, far right side, there's a link to click to start the process to request a card. My understanding is you'll get it online real time. So once you click the link, fill out the form. I believe it'll kick back a OPL library number. Once you get that number, if you return to the site, under Resource Center, when you get to the Omaha Public Library site, and then on the right side, you'll notice you'll see a link to lynda.com. You can directly click that option, and once you have your library card number, mine is already pre-filled, you'll create a PIN number with it. You simply log in, and once you get in, you get access to a whole library of technology videos, or actually videos on many subjects. So I would recommend maybe starting with becoming a web designer, and under this subcategory, all of the things that I've spoken about and then some, they're videos you can kind of watch just in time. So, if there's a topic you want to reiterate everything I've covered, simply click on them. You can come back to these. The good thing is you have unlimited lifetime access as it stands right now. So I would say maybe this is a good one to start with. As you guys get further along, user experience would be a good one to take a look at. Actually, all of these three would be good in that sequence. These are, you can kind of see the timeline, 3 hours and 38 minutes, 2 hours and 23 minutes, and 49 minutes. So they're rather short, but the good thing is you can watch these. They'll give you some suggestions on how to accomplish some of the tasks you need. Really great tool. We use this for supplementing some of the things we're doing in our college courses. So really great tool to look at. The other one I mentioned was Code Academy. So similar, this one is more of an interactive tool. So codeacademy.org is the website, or codeacademy.com, I'm sorry. And once you get here, you can create an account, but there are really great, so everything that we're going to cover in the duration of this project, there are modules or like courses on HTML, CSS. That's the majority of what we're going to cover. For those of you that want to add interactive elements to your site, JavaScript, depending on how daring you want to be. But our minimum requirement for this competition are HTML, CSS optimized web pages. So this is another really good source to start with, if you're kind of ramping up and have never used these tools before. And then one other thing G wanted me to show you guys. So if you're kind of wondering like where to get started and like what do I do? Again, I don't want to steal too much thunder from the other speakers that are coming, but sounds like most of you guys use a Windows environment. I'm guessing very few of you. How many of you have Macs again? Just a few of you. Okay, so the file management concept is pretty much the same across Windows and Mac. Normally, like in the classes that we teach at Metro, we recommend creating all of your like digital assets in a file structure. So for instance, let's see. Okay, so I'm in a Windows Explorer file structure. As you guys are getting started, I don't want to put too much in front of you, but as you're starting to experiment, what I would normally recommend is for your project, part of the talk that you're going to get later this afternoon is we're going to introduce you guys to a tool called Git or GitHub, and it's a way to collaborate with fellow developers, designers. So part of this process is that they're going to have you create a local file directory for your project assets. So the naming convention, again, I'm assuming you guys are fairly comfortable with, is there anyone not comfortable with basic Windows navigation? So I mean, just looking at you guys with your presentations, it looked like you guys know how to navigate Windows and get around fairly comfortably. Is that a fair assumption? Okay, cool. So with that, in Windows Explorer, we recommend creating a basic file structure. So whatever your project name is, you could just create a folder to start housing all your web content. And inside of that folder, the basic recommendation that we kind of follow at Metro is that you're going to have like an assets section. So you're going to have probably your file structure, your root directory with all of your HTML files. Additionally, you probably want to create a logical subfolder for CSS assets. So I mentioned, you're going to have at least one or multiple control files. We'd expect a minimum of one. Additionally, you're probably going to have an asset folder for images. And I think at this level, for what we expect from this project deliverable, this would probably be the minimum, and you guys can definitely go further, and you can, as your teams get further along and you get more sophisticated in your development of the projects, I would say this would be like a bare minimum recommendation. So you have a project folder on your respective flash drives or hard drives, create a substructure that has a CSS subfolder for those assets, one for your images, and I think that's a good starting place. And then keep this in mind as you hear the instructions on Git. We're going to basically show you, it's kind of like Git. Does anyone use Git? I would. So you're kind of familiar. So think of Git as like a Dropbox or Google Drive for developers is really what it is. So it's a way to sync your local machine to a cloud service, and you can collaborate with people across different platforms.